The day of the debate had finally arrived, and the atmosphere in the television studio was electric. Cameras were positioned everywhere, bright lights shone down on the stage, and reporters and crew hurried about, preparing for the live broadcast. The debate was between two well-known politicians, Senator Marco Rubio, a Republican, and Representative Jasmine Crockett, a Democrat. Both were ready to represent their beliefs and make their voices heard in front of millions of viewers watching at home. Jasmine Crockett was a strong and confident woman. She was known for speaking her mind clearly and passionately about the issues she cared about. She had prepared carefully for this debate. Her goal was to highlight what she believed were serious problems connected to former President Donald Trump. She wanted to make sure people understood why she thought some of his actions were wrong. She believed it was important for voters to hear this, especially from someone who could challenge Senator Rubio, a supporter of Trump. Marco Rubio, on the other hand, was calm and experienced. He had faced many debates before and knew how to keep his composure, even when conversations got heated. Rubio had a different view of Trump. He believed that Trump had made some important achievements during his time in office, and that many of the criticisms were unfair. Rubio planned to defend Trump's record, and to show why he thought the accusations were exaggerated or untrue. As the debate began, the moderator introduced both politicians and explained the rules. Each would have time to speak and respond to the other's points. The camera focused on Jasmine Crockett first as she took a deep breath and started to speak. She didn't hesitate. Her words were direct and firm. She began by reminding viewers about some of the investigations and controversies involving Donald Trump. She said that these were not just rumors, but real questions that needed answers. Crockett spoke about her concerns with clarity. She said that many Americans wanted transparency and honesty from their leaders. She insisted that corruption, or the misuse of power for personal gain, was something that could not be ignored, no matter who was involved. Her voice carried determination, and her expression showed how serious she was about her message. She believed this was a crucial moment to bring these issues to light. As she continued, Crockett challenged Marco Rubio directly. She asked him if he agreed that these questions about Trump's actions were valid and deserved investigation. She wanted to see if Rubio would acknowledge any mistakes or wrongdoings. Her tone was strong but respectful, making it clear she was not trying to attack Rubio personally but to hold leaders accountable. Rubio listened carefully, his face calm but focused. When it was his turn to speak, he leaned slightly forward. Instead of responding with anger or emotion, he chose a different approach. He began by pointing out what he saw as Trump's positive accomplishments during his presidency. Rubio reminded viewers about economic growth, job creation, and efforts to strengthen national security. He emphasized that many Americans had benefited from these policies. Rubio then addressed the accusations of corruption. He said that in politics, there are always critics who try to damage reputations for political gain. He warned that it was important not to accept every claim without proof. Rubio stressed the value of fairness and due process, saying that everyone deserved a chance to defend themselves before being judged. His words were clear and measured. Rubio's calm tone stood in contrast to the strong emotions in Crockett's speech. This difference caught the attention of viewers and the debate moderator alike. Rubio didn't ignore the concerns but framed them in a way that encouraged thinking carefully before jumping to conclusions. As Rubio spoke, the energy in the room shifted. People watching could feel the tension, but also the respect between the two politicians. Neither was trying to dominate with loud voices or personal attacks. Instead, they focused on their ideas and arguments, hoping to convince the audience. The cameras zoomed in on Jasmine Crockett as she prepared to reply. Although Rubio's response had been strong, Crockett was not ready to back down. She took a moment, then continued, explaining why she believed the issues she raised were important despite the political risks. She reminded the audience that accountability was necessary for a healthy democracy. Crockett argued that no one should be above the law, no matter their position. The debate continued with both politicians making their points clearly and passionately. Each one showed respect for the other, even when they disagreed strongly. Viewers at home were drawn in by the intensity and the sincerity of the exchange. The conversation was more than just politics. It was about values, truth, and the future of the country. As the segment came to a close, it was clear that this was just the beginning of a larger conversation. Both Marco Rubio and Jasmine Crockett had presented their views with honesty and courage. The audience was left thinking deeply about what they had heard. For many, the debate raised questions about leadership, trust, and what it really meant to serve the people. In the moments after the debate, social media began to light up with reactions. Clips of the exchange were shared widely, with people discussing who had made the stronger argument. Some praised Rubio for his calm and thoughtful replies. Others admired Crockett for her courage to speak out boldly against powerful figures. The debate had struck a chord, sparking conversations that would continue for days. For both politicians, this debate was a test of their skills, beliefs, and ability to connect with the public. It was a reminder that in democracy, dialogue and disagreement are part of the process. Each had shown the power of words to inspire, challenge, and influence the future. Be remembered. Rubio's words were calm and clear. He avoided insults or harsh language. Instead, he tried to offer a balanced view. This approach helped him connect with viewers who might be unsure or looking for more information before making up their minds. Rubio's goal was to show that loyalty to a leader could include recognizing both strengths and weaknesses. As the debate continued, Crockett tried to keep the momentum. She spoke about why transparency was necessary in government. She explained that people had the right to know the truth and to expect honesty from their elected officials. Crockett argued that without transparency, democracy could suffer. She said that leaders must be held responsible if they break rules or act in their own interest instead of the people's. Crockett's message was about trust. She wanted the audience to see that her concerns were not personal attacks but a call for better leadership. She believed that only by facing tough questions could the country move forward stronger. Her voice showed urgency, but she remained respectful of the political process. The debate moderator then gave Rubio a chance to respond again. Rubio said he agreed with Crockett that honesty was important. However, he cautioned against assuming guilt before facts were fully known. Rubio pointed out that investigations should be fair and complete before conclusions are made. He emphasized that rushing to judgment could harm innocent people and create division. Rubio also reminded viewers that politics often involve disagreements and hard choices. He said that citizens needed to think carefully and listen to all sides. Rubio's words encouraged voters to be thoughtful and not simply follow one viewpoint without question. The back-and-forth exchange between Rubio and Crockett continued, with both politicians showing respect despite their differences. The debate was not just about winning or losing, but about sharing ideas and helping voters understand complex issues. This made the conversation interesting and meaningful. Many people watching at home appreciated how both politicians stayed calm and focused. They saw that even when opinions were strong, it was possible to have a civil discussion. The debate became a good example of how democracy should work, through dialogue, listening, and honesty. Social media began to buzz with reactions to the debate's second part. Clips of Crockett's passionate speech and Rubio's steady replies were shared widely. People debated who had made the better argument. Some praised Crockett for standing up boldly. Others admired Rubio for his thoughtful defense. The conversation showed how important it was for citizens to engage with politics and form their own opinions. Meanwhile, political analysts began to weigh in. They pointed out that Crockett's focus on accountability appealed to voters concerned about honesty and transparency. Rubio's emphasis on fairness and due process resonated with those who wanted stability and careful judgment. Both messages had value and helped shape public discussion. As the debate moved forward, it was clear that this moment would be remembered. Both politicians had made strong points. They had shown their different views, but also their shared commitment to serving the public. The debate was more than just a contest. It was a reflection of the challenges and hopes facing the country. For Jasmine Crockett, this was a chance to make her voice heard on a national stage. She hoped that her words would inspire people to demand better leadership and accountability. For Marco Rubio, it was an opportunity to defend his beliefs and connect with voters who valued experience and balance. The audience, watching from their homes, was left thinking about what they had heard. The debate raised questions about truth, leadership, and the role of government. It reminded people that democracy depends on conversation and that everyone has a role to play. In the end, the debate was not about who shouted the loudest or made personal attacks. It was about two leaders respectfully sharing their views and encouraging others to think carefully. This honest exchange made the debate both interesting and important. After the exchange of strong words between Jasmine Crockett and Marco Rubio, the debate took on a new energy. Both politicians had laid out their positions clearly, but now it was time for Rubio to respond in a way that would leave a lasting impression on the audience. Rubio understood that this moment was critical. He needed to show that he could defend not only Donald Trump, but also his own beliefs with confidence and clarity. Marco Rubio sat upright, looking directly at Jasmine Crockett and then at the camera, knowing millions were watching. He began his response calmly and with confidence. He knew that being angry or aggressive would not help his case. Instead, he chose to speak in a measured, respectful tone that many viewers found appealing. Rubio started by thanking Crockett for raising important questions about leadership and honesty. He said those were values he also held dear. Rubio then shifted the conversation to focus on facts and accomplishments. He explained that while it was important to ask questions and investigate, it was equally important to recognize the positive outcomes from the Trump administration. Rubio reminded the audience that the economy had grown, unemployment had dropped to historic lows before the pandemic, and businesses had expanded. He said these facts showed that the president's policies had helped many Americans. He also talked about efforts to improve national security and strengthen America's position in the world. Rubio said that leadership was not just about avoiding mistakes but also about making progress and protecting the country. He wanted viewers to understand that judging a leader required looking at the full picture, not just focusing on negative reports. As Rubio spoke, his calm and steady voice drew the attention of the audience. His choice of words showed respect for both his opponent and the viewers. He said that while some critics focused on controversy, many Americans cared about the day-to-day changes that affected their lives, like having a good job, a safe neighborhood, and opportunities for their children. Rubio also addressed the idea of corruption directly. He acknowledged that corruption was a serious problem anywhere it happened. But he said it was unfair to assume guilt without clear proof. Rubio explained that every person deserved the right to be heard and to have facts carefully examined before being judged. He reminded viewers that accusations alone should not destroy reputations. He pointed out that politics was often full of accusations and that sometimes people used these claims to win votes or discredit opponents. Rubio asked the audience to be careful and thoughtful when hearing such claims. He said that justice and fairness should always come first, even when emotions ran high. As Rubio continued, he spoke about unity and the importance of working together. He said that Americans had many challenges to face, such as the economy, education, and healthcare. Rubio expressed hope that politicians from different sides could find ways to cooperate for the good of the country. He suggested that focusing on disagreements too much could harm progress. Rubio's speech was not only about defending Trump, but also about showing his vision for the future. He wanted to be seen as a leader who listened and who cared about all Americans, regardless of their political views. His calm manner and clear points made it easier for undecided viewers to follow his message. Watching Rubio speak, many viewers noticed his ability to stay composed under pressure. Unlike some political debates where shouting or interruptions are common, Rubio's calm tone stood out. This helped him appear strong and confident rather than defensive or angry. Meanwhile, Jasmine Crockett prepared to respond. She was clearly passionate about her position and believed deeply in the need for accountability. Crockett had raised difficult questions, and although Rubio's answers were strong, she felt it was important to continue pressing those points. Crockett spoke with determination. She reminded the audience that many Americans felt frustrated and worried about trust in government. She said that while economic growth and other achievements mattered, they should not overshadow the need for honesty and transparency. Crockett argued that the public deserved clear answers about any actions that might have broken laws or ethical standards. She emphasized that holding leaders accountable was not about politics or personal attacks, but about protecting democracy. Crockett said that history had shown that when corruption went unchecked, it could cause great harm to a nation. She urged viewers to remember that every person in power had a responsibility to act fairly and openly. Despite the seriousness of her words, Crockett maintained respect for Rubio's points. She acknowledged that some progress had been made but insisted that no progress could justify ignoring potential wrongdoing. Crockett's message was one of balance, celebrating achievements while demanding honesty. As the debate progressed, the tone remained respectful but intense. Both politicians showed that they cared deeply about their beliefs and the country's future. Their exchange gave viewers a chance to hear different sides and to think carefully about the issues. The audience at home was engaged. Many appreciated that the debate was about ideas, not insults or personal attacks. They saw two leaders willing to speak honestly and listen respectfully. This made the discussion more meaningful and helped people feel connected to the political process. The debate moderator guided the conversation to keep it fair and focused. Questions were asked that challenged both politicians to explain their views clearly. This helped the debate stay on track and allowed each side to make their points fully. After Rubio's strong defense and Crockett's passionate call for accountability, the debate reached a moment that many viewers would remember. Rubio's calm rebuttal showed his ability to handle tough questions without losing control. Crockett's bold insistence on transparency reminded people why they should always question leaders and demand honesty. As the cameras turned away from the stage at the end of this part, the mood was serious but hopeful. The debate was not just about politics. It was about the future of the country. Both Rubio and Crockett had made their case with respect and conviction. Outside the studio, social media and news outlets began to buzz with reactions. People shared clips and opinions, discussing which arguments were stronger. Some praised Rubio's calm and clear defense. Others supported Crockett's call for accountability and transparency. The conversation showed how important it was for citizens to stay informed and engaged. Political experts said this part of the debate showed the strength of both politicians. Rubio's ability to respond thoughtfully helped him connect with moderate voters. Crockett's passion and focus on justice inspired those who wanted change and greater oversight. Both had touched on real concerns facing the country. As the debate continued in the following parts, viewers were eager to see how this important conversation would unfold. The discussion between Marco Rubio and Jasmine Crockett was more than a debate. It was a reflection of the challenges and hopes many Americans shared. As the debate moved into its next phase, the atmosphere became even more intense. Both politicians, Marco Rubio and Jasmine Crockett, had made their main points clear, but now it was time for Crockett to respond once more. The audience, both in the studio and watching from home, was eager to see how she would handle Rubio's calm and confident replies. The moment was important because it could show whether she could regain momentum or whether Rubio's steady approach would continue to control the conversation. Jasmine Crockett took a deep breath and looked directly into the camera. She understood that this was her chance to remind people why she had started this debate by speaking about corruption. She spoke with renewed energy and determination. She said that asking difficult questions was not just about politics. It was about protecting the values that make a democracy strong. Crockett explained that honesty and fairness were not optional. They were the foundation of trust between leaders and the people they serve. She continued by saying that many Americans had lost trust in politicians because they felt that powerful people were not always held accountable. Crockett told the audience that it was important to stand up and speak out when things seemed unfair or wrong. She said that ignoring concerns about corruption could lead to bigger problems in the future. Her voice was firm, but she avoided harsh words or personal attacks. Instead, she focused on the need for transparency and responsibility. As Crockett spoke, it was clear that she was trying to reach out to undecided voters, people who wanted to believe in their leaders, but also wanted to see proof of honesty and integrity. She reminded the audience that leadership was about serving others, not about personal gain or protecting friends. Crockett urged viewers to think carefully about what kind of leaders they wanted for the future. After Crockett finished, the camera shifted to Marco Rubio. He was listening closely, his face calm but serious. Rubio understood that this was a crucial moment. He needed to respond in a way that would reassure those watching and keep the debate focused on facts rather than emotions. Rubio began by agreeing with Crockett on one important point. Honesty and transparency were essential in government. He said that he shared her desire for a system where leaders are accountable and where rules are followed. However, Rubio then reminded viewers that it was important not to rush to conclusions based on incomplete information or political attacks. He stressed that everyone should have the chance to be heard fairly. Rubio went on to say that while investigations and questions might happen, they should be done carefully and without political bias. He warned that sometimes people use accusations to distract from real issues or to gain power unfairly. Rubio said that the American people deserved better than politics filled with blame and division. The tone of Rubio's response was thoughtful and respectful. He encouraged viewers to look beyond headlines and social media posts and to seek the full story. Rubio also reminded people that the country faced many important challenges that required cooperation and understanding. He said that instead of focusing only on disagreements, politicians needed to work together for the good of the nation. As Rubio spoke, many viewers could see the difference in his style compared to the typical loud and angry political debates. His calm, clear way of speaking helped some people feel more confident in his leadership. Rubio's message was that while accountability was important, it should be done fairly and without damaging the country's unity. Jasmine Crockett listened carefully as Rubio finished. She knew that the audience was watching how she would respond next. Crockett did not want to seem defensive, but she also wanted to keep the pressure on important issues. She took a moment and then spoke about the responsibility leaders have to earn and keep the public's trust. Crockett said that while fairness was important, it should not be used as an excuse to ignore real problems. She argued that transparency was the best way to build trust, even when the truth was difficult to hear. Crockett said that people wanted their leaders to be honest, even if that meant admitting mistakes or facing consequences. She reminded the audience that strong leaders are those who accept responsibility and work to make things right. The debate moderator then stepped in to keep the discussion moving smoothly. He asked both politicians to focus on how they would help the country move forward. The question challenged Rubio and Crockett to show that their ideas could bring real solutions, not just arguments. Marco Rubio answered by talking about his plans for economic growth, education, and healthcare. He emphasized the importance of jobs and opportunities for all Americans. Rubio said that despite political differences, the goal should be to improve people's lives. He promised to work with others to find practical answers to everyday problems. Jasmine Crockett responded by highlighting the need for justice and fairness in all parts of government. She spoke about fighting inequality and ensuring that laws protect everyone equally. Crockett said that progress could only happen if leaders were honest and open with the public. She promised to continue speaking up for transparency and accountability. The back and forth continued with both politicians showing respect, but also standing firm in their beliefs. They each made clear their commitment to serving the people and to addressing the nation's challenges. The audience, both in the studio and at home, remained engaged. People appreciated that the debate was focused on important issues, not personal attacks. The respectful tone and thoughtful answers made it easier for viewers to consider both sides. After the debate, social media exploded with comments. Many praised Jasmine Crockett for her passionate defense of honesty and accountability. Others admired Marco Rubio's calm and balanced approach. The debate sparked conversations about the importance of trust and fairness in politics. News analysts said that this part of the debate showed why respectful dialogue is so important. It helped people understand complex issues and see that politicians can disagree without disrespect. The discussion reminded voters that their voices matter and that asking questions is part of democracy. As the debate moved toward its final moments, it was clear that both Marco Rubio and Jasmine Crockett had left an impact. They had shown their views honestly and had challenged each other respectfully. The conversation was not just about politics, it was about the values and future of the country. For many viewers, this part of the debate was a reminder that democracy depends on listening, learning, and holding leaders accountable in a fair way. Rubio and Crockett had helped make that idea real by showing how difficult conversations can happen with respect and honesty. As the debate reached its final moments, both Marco Rubio and Jasmine Crockett understood that this was their chance to leave a lasting impression on the viewers. After a long discussion filled with important points and respectful challenges, they now had to summarize their views and explain why people should listen to them. The closing moments of a debate are always important because many people decide who they support based on these final words. Jasmine Crockett began by thanking everyone for listening to the discussion. She spoke sincerely, showing her passion for justice and fairness. She reminded viewers that leadership was about more than winning elections or gaining power. It was about serving the people with honesty and integrity. Crockett said that every person deserved leaders who would be truthful and accountable, no matter who they were or what party they belonged to. Crockett emphasized that the problems she raised about corruption and transparency were not personal attacks. Instead, they were about protecting democracy and making sure government works for everyone, not just a few. She told the audience that she wanted to build a future where trust between leaders and citizens was strong. Crockett's final words were hopeful, encouraging people to stay informed, ask questions, and demand the best from those who represent them. After Crockett finished, Marco Rubio took a moment to gather his thoughts before speaking. He smiled gently and began by saying that he shared many of the hopes and goals Crockett had expressed. Rubio agreed that honesty and fairness were the foundation of any healthy democracy. He said that everyone should have confidence in their leaders and the government's decisions. Rubio then spoke about the importance of unity. He reminded viewers that despite political differences, all Americans want a better life for themselves and their families. Rubio said that working together, respecting different opinions, and focusing on practical solutions were the keys to progress. He encouraged people to look beyond party labels and think about what kind of future they wanted to create. He also talked about the successes from recent years. Rubio mentioned that although challenges existed, many Americans had benefited from economic growth and new opportunities. He said that these successes were reasons to be hopeful and to keep working for a stronger country. Rubio's final message was about balance, recognizing achievements, facing problems honestly, and moving forward together. As Rubio finished, the debate moderator thanked both politicians for their participation. The audience gave polite applause, recognizing the effort and respect shown by both Rubio and Crockett. The debate ended not with harsh words or insults, but with a sense of civility and hope. After the cameras stopped rolling, many viewers shared their thoughts on social media. The debate had sparked a lively conversation. People discussed which arguments had been most convincing and what issues mattered most to them. Some said they appreciated the respectful tone, saying it made politics feel more approachable. Others noted that both Rubio and Crockett had made important points that deserved attention. Political experts weighed in as well. They said this debate showed how leaders could disagree strongly, but still treat each other with respect. The discussion highlighted important topics like accountability, transparency, and unity, which are vital for any democracy. Experts noted that the debate had helped many voters think more deeply about what they wanted in a leader. For Jasmine Crockett, the debate was a chance to raise awareness about issues she cared deeply about. Her call for honesty and transparency reached many people who were concerned about government and fairness. Crockett's passion and clear message inspired some viewers to pay more attention to politics and to demand better from their leaders. For Marco Rubio, the debate was an opportunity to defend his beliefs and to show his steady leadership. His calm and balanced responses helped him connect with viewers looking for thoughtful answers. Rubio's focus on unity and practical solutions reminded many people that progress requires cooperation and respect. In the days that followed, the conversation about the debate continued. News outlets and social media shared highlights and discussed the key moments. The respectful exchange between Rubio and Crockett was praised as an example of how political debates could be more constructive and less divisive. Many viewers said they felt more informed after watching the debate. They appreciated hearing clear explanations and thoughtful answers rather than heated arguments. The debate helped them understand complex issues like corruption, accountability, and the importance of transparency in government. Some people said they were inspired to get more involved in their communities and to ask questions about their leaders. Others said they would watch future debates with more interest because this one showed how important respectful conversation could be. The debate also reminded viewers that democracy is a process that requires participation from everyone. It showed that leaders must listen to the people and that citizens have the power to hold leaders accountable. Rubio and Crockett's respectful exchange was a good example of how democracy should work, through dialogue, respect, and shared commitment to the country's future. Looking back, this debate was not just about two politicians arguing over past actions or policies. It was about the bigger picture, about values, trust, and what kind of leadership America needs. Both Rubio and Crockett showed that even with different views, they cared about the country and wanted to serve the people well. For many, the debate was a reminder that political discussions do not have to be negative or angry. They can be honest, respectful, and focused on real issues. This approach makes it easier for everyone to understand the challenges facing the country and to think about solutions. The final part of the debate left viewers with a sense of hope and possibility. Rubio and Crockett's words encouraged people to stay engaged, to ask questions, and to believe in the power of democracy. The conversation between these two leaders showed that even in difficult times, respectful dialogue and shared values can bring people together.